Summer is almost here, and you know what that means? Anal itching. Go to cvs.com/I'm reviewing here for 25% off petroleum jelly. Just kidding, this is not an ad.
I'm reviewing here!
I dare you to type in cvs.com/I'm reviewing here. I mean, nothing's going to happen. You'll just get a 404 error. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of I'm Reviewing Here, a podcast where I, Matthew Bussey, watches and reviews Sight and Sound's top greatest movies of all time. My voice just cracked there a little bit. Did you hear that? I'm reviewing here. Oh, man. Happy friggin' Monday. I am so happy and excited and ecstatic to review today's movie. It's the perfect movie for Mother's Day because Mother's Day is the Sunday. So good. Yeah, happy Monday. The weather is getting hotter in Philadelphia, and I'm really happy about it. I'm reviewing this on a Saturday, and I had a really good day. I am, like, completely tired as heck right now. As hell. I never say heck. Yeah, it's like, you know what I cannot get out of my head? Sorry, random thought. I always do this before every episode, but this part of Aladdin where Aladdin goes, "Let's not be too hasty," and then I think she's like a prostitute or something. I don't know. She goes, "Still, I think he's rather tasty." Remember that line? So annoying, but I can't get it out of my head. In the remake of Aladdin, the actress was not annoying, and she sang it, you know. I don't know musical terms. She sang it like bravado style. She sang it better, you know. I think in the animated version, it's meant to be over the top. But Aladdin, the animated version, I don't know. I had it on VHS as a kid, but I didn't really watch it a lot. I mean, I liked it when it was on, but I think what freaked me out was honestly the scene at the end where what's the villain's name? Giraffe. Yeah, Giraffe. Like, kidnaps Jasmine and puts her in that like sand bottle and tries to like suffocate her that way. I don't know. That was dark, man. The Disney movies are friggin' dark. The people behind Disney, you guys got some twisted ass minds. The beginning of Finding Nemo still traumatizes me to this day. Jesus Christ, do not watch that if you want to have kids. Even if you're a human, do not watch that. It doesn't matter that it's fish babies that get eaten by a barracuda? Yeah. Ooh, barracuda. That just makes me want to watch Charlie's Angels. Do you know Melissa McCarthy's in Charlie's Angels? Yeah, that scene where Lucy Liu pretends to be like the strict, bitchy boss or whatever. Yeah, Melissa McCarthy's in that movie. Good movie. A lot of good movies out lately. I don't really do this on this podcast. I don't really give like reviews of movies that are currently in theaters that you should go see. I have not seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, nor will I, because they make enough money, Marvel does, and I just don't really want to see it. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not recommending that you go see it. It's getting very good reviews. Yeah, it's getting better reviews than, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. I think that was the name. Wasn't that the name of the movie? Yeah. But that's obviously Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Apparently it's the first Marvel movie where they say, fuck. Yeah. Gaspy, gaspy, gasp. Wow. I don't know if I like that. Yeah, I don't know if I like that. Well, because the Marvel movies, like, you know, I don't know. They've always been PG-13, yeah, and like they're violent and everything, but you know they're kid friendly. I don't know if like the swearing, the cussing is really necessary. Who knows? They did have a sex scene in Eternals. Do you remember Eternals? That came out. Oh, I can't even say it. I didn't like Eternals at all. It was like 2 hours and 45 minutes long, and it made no sense. Yeah, but there was a love scene in that. It was a pretty hot love scene. And then Harry Styles just randomly shows up at the end of the movie. It was really weird. Yeah, good movies though. Evil Dead Rise, I highly recommend, but it is very bloody. And also, if you have family, I don't think you should see it because, it might scar you if you love your family. Anyway, okay, let's get to today's movie. Today's movie, no, does not have any blood or guts. Today's movie is actually rated PG for some thematic elements and brief smoking. Yeah. Thematic elements. I remember I went through this huge phase in middle school where I was obsessed with MPAA ratings and I would memorize them constantly. And for every PG and PG-13 movie, it was always rated PG for thematic material or mature thematic elements or intense thematic material. And I remember, I was like, what the hell is thematic? What does thematic mean? And I asked my 7th grade teacher, Miss Cooper, that, and I remember she just looked at me like, thematic elements? And I was like, yeah, what does it mean? And she was like, honey, I don't even know I don't know what that means. And I asked my parents, and they didn't know what it means. They didn't know what it means either. I think thematic elements basically means, well, themes in the movie are kind of dark, I guess. Maybe a little mature, maybe a little spooky, or intense. I don't know. But why do they call it thematic elements? Why wouldn't they just call it dark themes, you know? MPAA ratings are friggin' hilarious, though. Twister, rated PG-13 for intense depiction of very bad weather. Now and Then, 1995, great movie. Rated PG-13 for adolescent sex discussion. My favorite one as a kid that I used to memorize, and I think I still know it, Freddy vs. Jason. Oh god, okay, really quickly. 2003, Freddy vs. Jason, rated R for pervasive strong horror violence / gore, grisly images, sexuality, language, and drug use? Oh my god, did I get that right? Freddy vs. Jason, that is a badass movie. I should start a podcast where I just review horror movies, but everybody does that. But then again, everybody has podcasts like this anyway. Okay, today's movie. Petite Maman. It's also known as, Little Mom, Small Mom. It's not called that, though. It's like, no one calls Chocolat, the Johnny Depp movie, chocolate. No, you don't call it that. It's called Petite Maman, and it is amazing. It's one of my favorite French movies ever. Take a listen.
Tu viens m'aider? T'avais jamais vu avant. Je me suis fait une copine, je crois. Maman, tu la faisais où ta cabane?
Dans les bois, juste derrière.
J'ai un secret. Enfin, c'est pas comme le mien. C'est le tien aussi. Viens. On parlait jamais de quand vous étiez enfant. C'est pas forcément des choses qu'on cherche à cacher, les secrets. C'est juste qu'on a personne à qui les dire. Je vous écoute.
Oh, that trailer is so good, and that music. If any of you guys like that music, like the music in that song, it is called La Musique du Futur. It is composed by Jean-Baptiste de Laubier, and the lyrics are by the director of the film, actually, Céline Sciamma. Yes, I'm going to be using a lot of over-the-top French accents because it's a French movie. Leave me alone. I love French. I love France so much. Okay. Yeah, but it's called La Musique du Futur, Music of the Future, and it is on Spotify, and I have it on Spotify, and you should download it too. It is such a beautiful song, and this is a beautiful movie. Petite Maman, it came out in 2021, that horrible freaking year, 2021. I always say this, horrible year, really amazing year for movies, though, 2021. There were so many fantastic movies that came out that year. And the main reason why, of course, was because they were supposed to come out in 2020, but everything got pushed back in 2020. So in 2021, COVID was still around, but a lot of directors and distributors were like, okay, well, we're all living in this pandemic together. We're all in this together. Cue the High School Musical dance. They all broke out into that too in the meeting. Sorry, I don't know where that joke's going. But yeah, and they released all these incredible movies in 2021. And pardon me, I just spat on my computer. Yeah, so Petite Maman, I saw this in October of 2021 at the 30th Philadelphia Film Festival. I think it was like an early Sunday screening or like an early Saturday screening. I was captivated from beginning to end. It is such a special movie. It is so, like, soft. It's such a soft, gentle, pleasant, like, calming, gorgeous movie. I don't know how else to explain it except by saying that it's that type of movie that you want to literally eat. Like, you want to eat it. I'm not trying to be funny here. I really mean it. Like, it is just, it makes me, like, it makes me so happy that there are so many filmmakers out there making movies. And I think the main reason why Petite Maman had such an impact on me when I first saw it, 2 years ago, was because it reminded me of, oh my God, like, movies aren't dead. People are still making these amazing movies. I gotta tell you, 2020 and 2021, whenever people would tell me, like, I used to have this horrible roommate who I remember would be like, yeah, so Matt, I think movies are dead. Like, movies are dead. Like, they're dying. Yeah, you got to live with it. And I wanted to punch him in the friggin' face. And I'm not a violent person. But, like, people would say that. And that would drive me up a friggin' wall. Like, my heart would come out of my chest. And I would almost get, like, emotional. I would be like, movies are not fucking dying. Just go to the movies, all right? People are going to be making movies forever, all right? And they're going to be good. So I think that they're going to be good. I think that's why when I first saw Petite Maman, I just was like, oh my God, I'm just so happy, because 2021 and 2020, those were years where, yeah, it was scary. It's so scary. Not enough people are going to the movies still. They're at least not seeing enough indie movies like this. And, that's really, really sad. So Petite Maman, it gave me comfort in realizing, like, yeah, screw everybody who says that movies are dead and dying. They are not dead and dying. Petite Maman is, like, a prime example of that. Oh, I just loved it. I love this movie so, so much. It's a very, okay. Is it a slow-moving movie? Yeah, it is a slow-moving movie. It is. The director, Céline Sciamma, she is acclaimed. COVID, I'm getting mixed up with the years. In 2019, early 2020, she came out with this movie called Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Portrait de la jeune fille en feu. Shit, I got it wrong. That came out that came out like right before lockdown, and absolutely, I think it's actually on Sight and Sound's list. Amazing movie. It's a period lesbian romance movie. Gorgeous. She also did a movie in 2011 called Tomboy, which follows how do I say this? It follows a little girl who is, having a sexual identity crisis and is a boy deep down. So what she does is she starts dressing up as a boy, and she befriends a whole group of kids her age, and they all think she's a boy, and it's all about that, basically. It's absolutely, absolutely incredible. Céline Sciamma, she manages to get these unknown child actors, and they all are just so unbelievably talented, and their performances are so, like, nuanced, and they don't overact ever. Like, the girl in, I just gotta call her out, the girl in Tomboy, her name is Zoe Eran, I think that's how you say her name. Fabulous. And in Petite Maman, there are two twins in this movie, absolutely beautiful young girls, Josephine and Gabrielle Sanz, S-A-N-Z. I, like, just cannot friggin' wait to see what they do later on in life, because there's something about these performances that are just so... I burped, and I think I got it on camera, or on mic. Shit. Anyway, sorry. I forgot what I was saying now. Just great performances all around. Great performances by everybody in this movie. So let me get into it. So Petite Maman, it is very much like a cinematic poem. It's a short movie too. It's only like an hour and 12, hour and 13 minutes. It's slow moving, but it has this incredible effect on you. It's a movie about the past. It's a movie about mothers and daughters and grandmothers, and love and family and just how we all just need to go home and just hug our mothers, unless they're like, killers, I guess. I don't know. I mean, like, there's probably exceptions to the rule, but that's why, I think that's why I love this movie so much. And look at it. It's Mother's Day this next week. Well, it kind of doesn't match up. There are many days left. But anyway, Petite Maman is also a fantasy movie. Yeah, fantasy, but no big special effects, no real awareness. It's not all over the top, I guess, and I use over the top all the time. It's not exaggerated. It's not that type of movie at all. So let me get into it, I guess, because it'll make more sense when I get into it. So Petite Maman basically has a very minimal cast. It follows the life of this 8-year-old girl named Nelly. Nelly is very, very close with her parents. The parents, they're just known as mom and dad in this film. They're played by these really good, two great actors named Nina Merus and Stéphane Varoupen. And Nelly is played by one of the twins, Josephine Sanz. Also, I should say the twins in this movie, they're actual twins. This is not like The Parent Trap where they use like sneaky CGI and look-alike actors wearing, red wigs or whatever. No, there's none of that. These are real twins. And they're so freaking cute. So Nelly is, the movie starts off where Nelly's mother's mom, so Nelly's grandmother, has just passed away. Nelly is like a literal angel. Like, the movie starts off, they're in the hospital, and Nelly is literally going room to room saying goodbye to all the other patients in the hospital. Just so adorable. And, she does other things. Like, there's this, quirky moment where, like, her mom is driving and Nelly is eating this food, like these snacks, and she's feeding her mom from the back seat as her mom is driving the car. There's another scene where she's helping her father shave his face. Yeah, or his beard. Yeah, it's like she's just absolutely like an angelic. I don't know how else. I don't know any other word for angelic. But yeah, her grandmother has just died, and her mom is pretty upset about it. So what they do is they go to their grandmother's house, and it's out in the woods. It's out in like the French, gorgeous, beautiful woods. Nature plays such a big role in this movie. Like the wind and the weather and like the clouds and the leaves, everything. The cinematography, it's by a woman named Claire Maton, I think is how you say her name. I think, no, I don't recognize. Oh, I think she also did it for Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Yeah, but Nelly, she's she's not at all precocious or anything. She's very much a good girl and so mature for her age. And Nelly is also pretty sad, but she doesn't really show it. She tells her mom in one scene, she says, Mom, like, are you sad? And the mom says, yeah, I am. And Nelly says, I'm sad too, because, the last goodbye I said to her, Grandma, wasn't good enough, she feels like. And she also didn't know it was going to be the last goodbye that she would give her grandmother. Aww. And it's just, I'm going to start crying. No. It's moments like that where, the dialogue in this film, Céline Sciamma, she wrote and directed this too. So her dialogue is just so unbelievably moving. Anyway, Nelly wakes up one day and her mom is gone. Her mom has left. And Nelly and her dad are a little bit taken aback. They're kind of like, well, what's going on? I think they both know deep down that their mom, and this is kind of bad on the mom, I mean, no offense, but the mom, I think, is just so heartbroken by the loss of her mother that she kind of just leaves because she just needs time to herself. Which, was that the right thing to do? No, that's questionable. I mean, we all need time to grieve, obviously, but, you also have an 8-year-old daughter, so it's a little screwed up. But Nelly isn't really worried about it. I mean, she is a little bit, but again, Nelly is just so, like, ahead of for her age and does not show any signs of like panic or anything like that. So Nelly, she goes out into the woods, and who's that in the woods? There's a girl. And also, this girl looks positively exactly like Nelly. The only difference is that this girl wears like a headband, over her head. Because that's what headbands are for. They're for your head and your hair. I don't do beauty products. What's mascara? I don't even freaking know. I have horrible experience with mascara because I used to act in high school and they used to have to put mascara on me before I went on stage and I hated it. Women, how do you do it? God, you're brave. Anyway, it's like poking your eye with a knife. So this girl who looks just like Nelly, they both approach each other and they don't react at all to the fact that they are like identical from head to toe. They don't even react at all. That's a very big part of this movie because this is where the fantasy element comes in. You remember It Takes Two with the Olsen twins? Remember when they run into each other in the woods and they freak out and they do that girly Olsen twins scream and, who was this? Oh yeah, Mary Kate was the sporty one and Ashley was always like the proper one. In that movie, there is a correlation because it's also set in the woods. But that's, much more realistic. In this film, Nelly is just very much like, hi. There's no awareness or acknowledgement that they look alike. So that's the magic of Petite Maman is that it's a fantasy movie set in real time. And it's done in such a nuanced, like, intelligent way. I think that's what and especially what critics love so much about it. So this girl, she says her name is Marion, and she takes Nelly back to her house. And what's also strange is that Marion's house looks just like Nelly's grandmother's house. Huh. You see where I'm going with this? You see what might be going on? Again, Nelly just kind of looks at it and is like, huh? And she goes in the house and she explains to Marion, who, that her grandmother just died and they're visiting her home to collect some things. And, her mother just kind of left and they don't know where she is. And Marion basically says, well, that's odd. Your name, that's actually my mom's name, or my grandmother's name too. And she's like, oh. And then she also says her own grandmother died not so long ago. So Nelly is kind of like, well, what's going on here? And Nelly kind of walks up and she goes down the hallway. And the hallway, everything is the exact same as her grandmother's house. And she walks past this one room and she sees this old woman, with like a cane, really upset on the bed. And it's like this, it's like a spitting image of her mom. Not the actress, not the woman, but the situation, because her mom is also grieving right now. So Nelly rushes out of the house, and this is where us, the viewers, we realize, oh my God, so Marion is Nelly's mom as a kid. And Marion's mother, the sad woman, is actually Nelly's grandmother. Huh. See what I mean? It's a time travel movie. Home Alone face. Yeah, it's a time travel movie. But no, this movie is not like, oh my God, look at this. It's not overblown. There's no big music or anything like that. No. Nelly knows what's going on, but she never outright says, oh my God, I went back in time. What is going on in these woods? There's none of that. There's none of that. This movie, that's what gives the movie the poetic feel to it, So throughout this movie, Nelly and Marion, they become super, super close. They built this fort in the woods. They act like kids, like any other kids do, And that is also just why Sciamma, the director, is just so good at portraying that. They pretend, they play this game where like one of them pretends that they're a detective and one of them pretends that they're a witness that's been taken into custody or whatever. They do silly things. They make clips. That's a very funny scene. And their laughs are so infectious. And eventually, Nelly ends up explaining to Marion, like, Marion, you're actually, this is crazy, but you're actually my mom from the future, or from the past, I mean. And, and Marion, too, is just like Nelly in that she's very mature for her age. And she's like, so your grandmother died, meaning my mom. How old am I going to be? And she says, you're going to be 31. It's really crazy. And Marion, I forgot to say too, Marion also, because her mother, Nelly, sorry, if you're getting confused with the mother and grandmother, blah, 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 blah. The family tree in this, I'm making it sound complicated, but it's really not. Nelly's grandmother is a little physically impaired. You know, she walks around with a cane. And I forgot to say this. Marion tells Nelly that she has to get surgery in like 3 days, so that she's not going to have what her mother has, you know? And they really, really bond over this. There is a moment that melts my heart in this film where like they're having a sleepover and Marion asks Nelly, her daughter, you got to remember too, these are twins. I mean, they literally are twins. They look the exact same and they're children. And this dialogue exchange is just unforgettable. Marion, it's late at night and they're in bed in their pajamas and Marion is like, did I want you? Like, you know, when I got pregnant, did I want you? And Nelly just says yes. And then Marion just says, I'm not surprised. I already think about you. And then she picks up her hand and she kind of like brushes the side of Nelly's face. Wow. I get chills just thinking about that scene. I really, really do. So they hang out some more. Marion eventually, you know, leaves and Nelly informs her, you're going to be okay. I mean, clearly you're going to be okay because, you know, you're going to live longer because my mom lives longer, you know. So they hug and Marion gets in the car and leaves. And then Nelly returns back to her house in the present and her mother has returned. And Nelly isn't mad or anything. She kind of just goes up to her and they sit and they, on the ground and they, the floor, and they say each other's names. And then boom, the movie ends. Beautiful. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean... I thought a little bit about this and I didn't really do as much research as I should have, but does that mean that maybe old Marion, you know, the old mom, did she go back in time as well? I think they did. Because where did Marion go? Where did the mom go? You know? So that might be like really obvious. And if you've seen this movie, you're like, duh, Matt, of course they did. I don't know. I just think that's what it means. You know, I think that's the meaning of that. Of why she disappears and why she comes back as soon as little Marion leaves. Old Marion returns, you know. I was blown away by it. I was so unbelievably just captivated by it. Again, it's like I said, it's a gentle movie. It's weird to call a movie gentle, but it really is. It has this emotional power over you, you know, with its dialogue and with its cinematography and with these actresses. I mean, just so phenomenal. I cannot wait to see what Céline Sciamma does next. I mean, really, she doesn't even... She makes amazing movies about children. And they're realistic movies about children, too. And again, I think if this movie if it didn't have the fantasy aspect of it, I don't think it would have worked as well, you know? I think the fact that it does, and it does it in such a peculiar way, you know? It's not like you remember in Stuart Little... I mean, that's very different. That's a huge fantasy movie. It's a friggin' CGI mouse for crying out loud. But like, you know, in that movie, like when Gina Davis and Hugh Laurie first meet Stuart at the adoption agency, they don't freak out because again, it's like it's a fantasy set in real time. You know, I remember seeing that with my dad and my sister, and after the movie, my sister was like, "I don't get it. Why didn't they scream?" And then my dad just went, "Well, daughter, you see, it's just a fantasy, so it's set in its own world." And, you know, that's like Petite Maman. It's just set in its own world, but it's just like... I just wish that... God, I wish fantasy could just be real sometimes in movies like this. I wish, like, I could meet, like, my dad when he was young. We probably would not hit it off, because my dad, when he was young, like, loved sports, and I did not. But, I don't know, maybe like my grandfather or something. It's that type of movie. It's a movie that reminds you to just always be close with the ones that you love and never let them go, you know, because we all suffer. We're all in pain sometimes, and everything always works out in the end. It's just, God, such a heartwarming movie. I think I've recommended it enough that you should go see Petite Maman. It is available on Hulu. one of my favorite movies of 2021, one of my favorite French movies ever. This was actually the second time I had watched it no, not all the way through. This was the second time I had watched it. Oh, crap, what am I trying to say? This was the second time I had watched it, like, in one sitting all the way through. Yeah, that's kind of what I meant to say at the beginning. Blah, 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 blah. When I talk a lot, when I get really into a movie, I kind of just, forget how to speak English. So, pardonnez-moi. Man, well, this was great. It's so good that artistic movies like this are still getting made and can be so moving. So, absolutely go check out Petite Maman. Honestly, if you don't love movies, check it out. If you're bored, you may be bored, but this movie is gonna have a power. I keep saying have a power. This movie is gonna stick with you for a long, long, long time. And I am right and you're wrong, okay? And I am you and we are he and he is I and we're all together. How's that song go? Do, 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 do. Yeah. Oh, that sounded like the Twilight Zone theme. Anyway, Petite Maman, available on Hulu. Guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of I'm Reviewing Here. New episodes every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Please rate and review and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at I'm Reviewing Here, or you can follow me personally at mabussy. Why are you laughing? It's not that funny. Mabussy. It's my last name, Bussy. Yes, please do that. We have a full, no, we don't have a full Wednesday. There is no film because it's not available anywhere. So I will see you on, you will hear me on Friday. Yes, that was fun. Bye, everybody. Have a good rest of the day and go home and hug your mama. Bye-bye. Oh, and before you go, I am uploading episodes to YouTube. I have the first, probably 10 or 15 up by now. I don't know. If you love YouTube, if it's easier for you, you can listen to episodes on YouTube. Okay, that's all. Just search for I'm Reviewing Here, and you can subscribe to my channel. Who knows? Maybe I'll add some bonus content. Wink, wink. You never know. My nudes might go up. No, don't take nudes. Don't do that. Just nothing good ever comes out from taking a nude. Okay, goodbye. That's all.